Welcome back to another episode of STL Real Estate Roundtable. I'm your host, Jaden Barr, CEO and team leader of Keller Williams Realty Chesterfield. And today I'm joined by a very special guest, Don Griffin. Dawn, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited too. I know that everybody watching is excited to learn more about your story and how you built this incredible business. So take us back to whenever you were first getting interested in a career in real estate. What made you get licensed and start this business?
I was a teacher.
Okay.
And I was not a very good one.
What'd you teach?
I taught Latin at Kirkwood High School.
Okay.
And I didn't understand then that teaching was not about the content. It was about the kid. And I was kind of a kid and kind of a selfish kid. And I was like, I didn't get it. And I was really surrounded by really good kids, really good teachers, and really informed and parents, right? And so I was like, I hate this. And I was like, what's wrong here? Well, it's not the kids, and it's not the parents, and it's not the teachers. Like, it's me. Like, I just don't belong here. This isn't for me. And I knew that because I could see people doing it really, really well. And I was like, I have no desire to do it really, really well.
Okay.
So I exited. I was just like, not for me. And I didn't know what to do, but I knew kind of what I was interested in. And so I just saw a want ad and it was like, you could be a realtor. And I was like, I could totally do that for a hot minute until I figure out what I want to be when I grow up.
Psych.
Right. And then I just, I got into it and I loved it. And it was a constant, it was the thing that I would stay up all night for. It was the thing that I would work really hard for. And so I just this is where I was supposed to be. It just took me a minute to find that out.
That's awesome. Okay. So you get your real estate license, and how many years have you been in business?
It'll be 21 in a couple months.
21.
Yeah.
Incredible. That's incredible. So 21 years ago, you get your license and you know everything you need to know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I passed that test and then I was a realtor.
No questions.
Yeah, no, it was perfect. Smooth sailing.
Right.
I have it.
Okay, I think we can end the episode now.
Yeah, that's
right?
it.
Okay.
Just get a license.
So take me through kind of the career growth from, 21 years ago to where you are today. Like what's that been like?
The first few years were full of tears. Like lots of them, because the training was sort of non-existent at that point. And I got my license without ever having bought a house. So I had never even seen the process firsthand. So my first couple of years, I was like, oh, as long as you can deal with ambiguity, you're fine. I was like, I can deal with all this ambiguity. I'm going to be fine. I didn't know my first couple of years that my job was to remove the ambiguity for everyone else in the process, right? Mm. And so every hurdle was just I was just slogging through it. Like something would come up, we would be dealing with a lender missing loan commitment. We would be dealing with home inspection issues. We would be dealing with buyers offering, these ridiculous lowball offers, and then the seller's agent calling and yelling because they're like, how dare you send such a ridiculous offer? And it was just awful. In memory, I was like, oh my gosh, it was very, very hard those first couple of years. And then also never knowing when you were going to get paid.
Yeah.
Because it's not
commission, right?
It's not like you're guaranteed to get a paycheck. So learn the contract, learn the process, learn how to work with lender, learn how to work with title, learn how to work with building inspectors, and then learn how to build a business and attract people to it. So all of that, the first 2 to 5 is learning. And I loved learning in general. I didn't love teaching, but I loved learning.
Right.
And so every day was kind of a challenge. And luckily, I was an amazing waitress.
Okay.
Which is how I paid my bills.
Mm-hmm.
And I will honestly say that despite having like an undergraduate degree and a graduate degree, waiting tables, because I was good at it, I transferred all of those skills to this because I feel like it's really analogous. Someone comes in, you show them the menu, you work with the front of the house, you work with the back of the house, you're guiding
Coordinate everything.
the experience. And then you're doing it, right? You're not just doing it with one client at a time or with one customer at a time, right? Like this customer is coming in and they're ordering appetizers, but that guy needs his plates cleared and this guy's main course is coming out. So as a realtor, you're never just working with one client at a time. So with that ability to run the process and multitask that same process with different people all on the different timelines of that process, that was probably the most transferable skill. And the thing that like, I am a good realtor because I was an exceptional server.
That is incredible. So I've never heard it broken down like that, but it makes so much sense. That's awesome. Yeah, that one of my questions is going to be, how did your experience in the teaching world translate? But that is much better.
Well, teaching
the waiting tables is great.
Yeah, teaching too, because you're teaching the clients about the process. It was just that first year, no one taught me about the process. So I had to learn just through experience. Like, what is it like from beginning to end? And then once I did learn it, then I was really able to teach it to my clients.
It doesn't help that every transaction is different too, right? So you're like, you close the deal and you're like, okay, I got it. Here's what happens. And then curveball.
Yeah.
Totally different.
And still today.
Still.
Curveballs. Right. All the time.
Right. Yeah. It cracks me up when like new agents, they're getting ready to get ready. And it's like, you just got to go. Like, you're going to figure it out. Obviously, there's going to be training and a lot more coaching and things like that, probably nowadays than there was then.
It was really so different.
Yeah. You're never going to be 100% ready. You just have to
fail forward.
Figure it out. Fail forward. That's right. So once you start to get a little traction in your business and it started to grow, what was that like? And obviously, huge business today, right? So talk to me about like whenever you started to see, like when it started to click, whenever you started to see that success.
And I just remember one moment where I came back from a listing appointment and I was like, I'm really good at this. I mean, it was that moment I was just like, I'm really good at this. Like, I am really good at talking to the client, figuring out where they are, figuring out what their pain point is, figuring out how we're going to address it and how to explain it to them. Here's the process. What do we need to do to make it good for you? And then rolling out a listing and marketing it and attracting buyers and then getting them all the way from A to B, right? Like all the way from the nerves at the listing table to the like happy, hey, we get the check now. Mm-hmm. And I just remember that one time and then I was like, okay, I'm great at this process. Now I need to tell the entire world how great I am at it so that they call me and let me be great at them. And so that was a turning point between like learning how to do the business and doing it really well and serving clients and then going, okay, I am a business and part of this business is really attracting people to the business, right? Like generating more business. And that was, it took me a long time to get there. It was easily like, it had to be like between year 5 and 7.
Mm-hmm. So year 5 to 7, right? Started to click. For anybody watching that needs a little encouragement right now, like if you're struggling or, you're just getting started and you're not seeing it yet, like that's a huge just testament of hard work and persistence and, doing the work, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of Instagram tells new agents that like they can do 100 transactions in their first year. And there's no training for this. Like no one went to grad school. No one went to apprenticeship. Like you get your license and your first 1 to 4 years is like going to college to learn the trade. And I did like a career fair a couple months ago, and I was talking to the students about it, and they were like, oh, I'm going to go to college. And they were like, they have to work their way through college, right? Like they're going to have a job waiting tables or doing whatever while they're going to college. And I was like, that's how you need to think about your first 4 years of real estate. Like you're going to real estate college. You're going to learn by doing through experience, but you probably need to have some other job to support you while you're going to real estate college.
Yeah. I mean, to expect immediate success is crazy, right?
Well,
I mean, there are no limits, right? There is, a path for success early, right? But it does take time.
Right? Just time on task,
Takes
doing the thing. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a team today. I think there's probably a lot of successful agents that are watching this that want to know, how do I attract talent to my team and how do I keep talent? Because there's a lot of every rainmaker is looking for that next top listing agent or buyer's agent to add to their team, right, to make it better. But the challenge, I think, is to keep those individuals.
I'm trying to figure out how many members of my team are past clients. There's several. And so I would say your past clients are people who know you, they've been through the process with you, and they probably if they're interested in real estate, they want to join you versus some random person. So I think looking for our next hire, we would go to our client database first. Our operations and marketing, she was a past client of mine.
Okay.
And she had responded to an ad that the brokerage put out, and she called me and she said, hey, I noticed that the brokerage was hiring for this position. And I was like, yeah, they just filled it. But I was like, oh, she's looking?
Yeah.
And so sat with that for about 6 months, and then finally called her and said, all right, are you still interested in changing positions? And we had 6 weeks worth of interviews. I mean, they were just talks and expectation. It was 6 weeks of expectation setting. And it's the slow to hire, quick to fire.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we had
slow, fire fast.
Yeah. Think about we had already been through one of the top 5 most challenging things that people do in their life, right? I watched her through a move, and she watched how I worked through that same stressful situation. So we already had a foundation. And then we spent 6 weeks talking about expectations. She is coming up on her 10-year anniversary. And then the following year, we sent out a letter to our client database, and we said, our goal this year is to help 100 families. And one of our past clients was she's like, if you're going to help 100 families, you're going to need some help. And we were like, we love you, and we don't know what seat on the bus is right for you, but you, yes, you. We will figure out the right seat. And then, I mean, we have two other agents on our team now who are past clients.
That's awesome.
So
kind of the honey hole.
I'm just that's the place right there.
Okay, cool. What do you envision for the team in 2025? What's success look like for you, and what challenges are you currently working through to make the team even greater than it was last year?
It's a big one. So until this point, we have been kind of structured like a traditional team, right? Where I work as the listing agent, and then the buyer's agents all work buyer leads, right? So everyone is sort of specialized in doing their one thing. But I have some agents on my team who've been with me almost 10 years, right? 9 years. And they're just I'm ready to grow. I am ready to do more than buyers. So we're starting that transition now, where some of our more senior agents are taking on a listing agent role and learning that side of the business. So that is, and it's just for me, letting go of the control of managing every single listing. That's hard for me. It's also just teaching, going back to like being a good teacher. I'm just like, follow me, watch me do it. And luckily, Andrea is like, we also need, like, they need more than that. They need more than just watching you do it. We need to break it down into steps. We need to have checklists for everybody to follow so that everybody's doing it the same and that the clients can expect the same service no matter which agent we get. And we were great at translating that from a buyer's agent. Mm-hmm. Now we just have to do that same thing so that the level of service that Andrea and I give to our sellers, each agent on our team will be able to give that same level of service. Yeah. So that's the challenge that we're working for. But that's also like, we love our team members and we want them to be able to grow with us. So opening it up so that they have more opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard this said once. I love it. It's like, watch what I do. Okay. Now do it with me. Now I watch you do it. Now you go do it for yourself.
Oh, I like that.
Right. So it kind of breaks it down into like a progression of, growth, mm-hmm. which I think makes sense. So what's been the biggest challenge in growing your business? Like I'm assuming you get a lot of referrals from past clients. Is that the primary source of your business?
It used to be probably 70%.
Okay.
To be honest.
Like sphere and referral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then the other 30% is just web presence, right? It's like, what is that saying? Like 50% of your marketing is working. You just don't know which 50%. Yeah. People will come in who we don't know. Like they haven't been referred. They just email and they're like, hey, we would like to set up a listing appointment. And then we're like, how did you hear about us? And they're just like, and which one?
What is that? What does that taking through the steps that you took to get here? Yeah.
Yeah. So in general, I say to like past clients, repeat clients, referrals from clients, and then web presence.
Whatever that means, right?
It's like wherever. It's like what I tell our clients. I'm like, we're going to list your house. We're going to put it on the web and we're going to cast the widest possible net, which is the same thing I do with our business. We put it on the web. We cast the widest possible net.
The World Wide Web. Yeah. That's awesome. Cool. So what has been like, growing up in the business, like who did you look up to? Who did you learn a lot from whenever you were getting started? Or does anybody come to mind?
Anyone and everyone. Anyone who would spend time with me. Anyone I was working across from. I went to everything I was invited to. Mm-hmm. So anytime someone put on a roundtable or did a summit, like I went and I tried to learn. So my first brokerage was CBG, and they had a monthly rally, and I went to that rally, and Kathy Irvine, does that name ring a bell? Probably not, right? Because it was 20 years ago. She just, she just got up on stage and she started dropping gold nuggets, and I was like, I will take that one, and I will take that one, and I will take that one. I listened to tons of podcasts, tons, all of them. But, Tom Ferry, like I'm all over that podcast. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I like, what do we call that when we binge? Thank you. I was like, what is the word? I was like, no. Like I'll binge Tom Ferry for like a month in the morning. Like I'll get up and I'll walk and then I'll just binge it. And then I'm like, I never want to hear that man's voice again. And then 3 months later, I'm like, oh yeah, it's time to get back in there.
Seasons of Tom Ferry. Mm-hmm. Seasons of Tom Ferry. Cool. Where do you see the market headed in 2025? What are you expecting?
So I am feeling it today. I have like 15 coming soon listings in January. And that is a lot of listings for us to have like right now. So I think we're going to see more inventory. I think we're going to see longer days on market, which now, everybody's going to freak out. They're going to be like, my house is on for 20 days. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right. But I think we're there. I think we're getting back to a healthy market where not everything's going to sell in multiple offers in the first weekend. Mm-hmm. So, I would love to have 15 listings every month.
Right.
That's a very different business than I ran last year. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to see more. Like if I'm seeing it, you must be seeing it. Mark must be seeing it. Tiffany must be seeing it. You know, like I am not the only one with listings coming.
Yeah.
So I think we are all going to see more inventory this year.
Yeah, I think it might just be general like thought process by like the general population of, oh, interest rates are probably not going to change a whole lot. If I really am uncomfortable where I am, like let's explore what it looks like to move. Right.
Yeah.
So I think.
What are you hearing?
I mean, I think coming off of, okay, I'll set the stage here. I think that using the market as an excuse for not hitting your goals is just terrible mindset, right? So I think there's still being homes bought and sold every day, right? There's plenty of business to go around for us to all be wildly successful. Yeah, there's homes being bought and sold every day. So really you just have to go and find, okay, who is buying and selling today, right? In spite of the market conditions, in spite of the interest rates. Like there's people, as sad as it is, there's people dying every day, right? There's people being born every day. There's people getting divorced, getting married, having kids, and relocating due to work. So, you know, find those people and your business. So as cheesy as that is,
I'm like, say it again.
It rhymed.
It did
rhyme. But that's kind of like the approach that I think we as agents should have, right? But I think coming off of 2024 is a record low of, somebody will have to fact check this, but record low of number of transactions, I think in the past 30 years, 27 years.
Just 2024 was record low. It wasn't. Okay. I know you study that more than I do.
Yeah. So someone I'm sure will call me out and be like, it was, yeah. But from everything that I've seen, I think that's true. So
it's got to be better than last year is what you're saying.
I think better, but probably somewhat more of the same. Just because of interest rates, like people are comfortable in their 3% interest rate and they don't want to give that up.
Yeah. But to your point, I had a call from a person who has a home to sell, needs to buy another home. They live in a 1-bedroom house. They have 2 little boys under 2, right, and they have a baby on the way. Yeah. They cannot stay there. Yeah. Yeah. They need to make this. And it's not an interest rate driven change. It's
a life change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it'll be similar to 2024, but I do think that the market is shifting in terms of, you know, if you look at the data, days on market is increasing. Really, like sales price hasn't really dropped a whole lot. It's just taking longer for homes to sell. And I think, we're getting back to somewhat normalcy with offers in terms of like the terms that are within offers. I don't know if you've seen that with offers that you're writing, but
goodness,
I had several transactions, mid to end of last year where I was able to, negotiate great deals in terms of inspections and in terms of the terms within the offers. So I think that's going to shift back to normalcy.
Yeah. Now I think some of my contractors forgot who I was.
Right?
Right? Because there were years where I was like, hey, Alberto. And then there were years where I was just like, I don't need any plumbing because this is being sold.
Yeah.
Reigniting those relationships with our contractors is going to be really beneficial.
Yeah. What else do you want to touch on?
I'm curious about you.
Yeah. Ask me some questions. Fire away.
How long have you been in this position?
So the leadership position I'm in. So I got started in that in November of 2023. So I got licensed in September of 2020.
So 3 years. Okay.
Yeah. So got started in the team leader position, leading the Chesterfield KW location in November of 2023. So just over, what is that? 15 months in the role. And it's been awesome. I've always had a passion for leadership. I've had a passion for coaching. and background in athletics. So I've always been the team captain, the quarterback, point guard, shortstop on all the teams. And so to kind of just help agents win, that's kind of how I describe my position.
Yes.
To take agents from where they are and help them get to where they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found is a lot of agents don't necessarily know what they're doing. They don't run their business like a business, and they need help doing that, right?
Yeah.
So, and the biggest piece is really just accountability. Like, people know what they need to do. They just need some accountability.
How are you working accountability in? I mean, because this is a big place.
Mm-hmm.
And so is it like personal check-ins? Are you guys doing group work? Like, how are you working in accountability?
Yeah. So, I mean, we have a mastermind once a month. We have our business meeting. We have tons of training and like coaching opportunities, but I meet with our top 20% on a one-on-one basis, as frequently or infrequently as they would prefer. So
How often do they cancel on you?
How often what?
How often do they cancel on you?
So somewhat weekly, somewhat twice a month, once a quarter. Mm-hmm. So it really just varies based on that.
Yeah.
But it starts with knowing their why. Like, why is this your goal? Mm-hmm. And what does it mean to you? Like, if you don't hit your goal, does it really matter? And I found, Simon Sinek, he has a book called Start With Why, and he draws 3 circles, right? And on the outside is what, the second circle is how, and then the center circle is why. And
how are these arranged?
So circle, bigger circle.
Oh, okay.
Circle, right?
Got it.
So you have what, how, and why. And he says that we should always start with why, because people don't care what you're going to do or how you're going to do what you say until they know why, right? And so that really flipped my perspective on like coaching and consulting with agents, because a lot of times I would just tell them what to do or how to do it without knowing and understanding like who they are and why they do what they do. So that was a big wake up call for me from a leadership perspective.
It's the age range of the agents here, right? Everybody's why. It's just so different.
Yes. Yeah. Very dumb. So the leadership position has been phenomenal. It's stretched me and challenged me in a lot of really, really cool ways. Been great opportunity, and I've really enjoyed it. And then my sales business, that's still alive and well.
Good for you.
And so
that's 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah, it is. It's just with the leadership position, it's more of, a full-time, like 9 to 5 in office, present office on a regular basis. And then it just forced me to add a lot of leverage to my business and let go of a lot of things that I'm not good at. So like paperwork, like showing those, it's very time consuming. And so I had to, really relieve that and delegate it to showing assistants so that I could focus on appointments and offer strategy, offer negotiation. So stay in my lane.
That's so smart. Wow. How did they train you to be?
For
the team
leader? Yeah. So, there's a lot of trades down in Austin. So they call it Market Center Skills Camp.
One.
And so it's like it's a few days of training and like what does a healthy office look like, and
tell us about you.
I mean, for me, I want to be, we just had a vision a couple weeks ago, and I was kind of like setting the vision for 2025 for our office. And at the end of the day, I want our office to be known for top producing agents, the place where you go to grow your business, to live a life by design, and to have fun.
Good.
So it's great. Those are kind of like the three pillars, right? Because there's a lot of agents that make a lot of money, but they don't have time to spend the money that they make, or they don't keep any of it. And so what good is that, right?
Dad and more coming than you.
Right. So place to grow your business, still live the life by design, and have fun doing it.
Fine.
Try and bring that energy. Yeah.
Our day, like we have, and that was,
So what do they do?
Well-
Take me through how that started. Were you in a rut, or like?
Yeah, I was in a rut because I felt like cleaning the phones like all on me, and some days I was just like, I mean, what's fun to me? Like, not always fun to everyone else. And this year we did our Kickstart staff meeting. Have you ever done those? It's probably a lot like your vision planning session.
Okay.
And so we review like every piece of our business. Like, how are the emails going? What are they saying? Do we need to add anything? Do we need to subtract anything? Like the full client journey, every piece of it we review as a team. And then we review the team culture as well, right? So we're going through every piece of the business. And I think we should do more fun things. But it felt like a permanent to me. I was like, I that's just so much more. It's just a kind of fun. And then it wasn't fun. And so I just like gave it out to the group. I was like, does anyone want to be a fun committee? And they were like, I was like, this is amazing. Yes, please be the fun committee.
Okay.
It was just such a relief. But now y'all like, we're going to have fun because literally like, almost fun.
Right. You know this, right?
We guys are fun.
Right.
So yeah, like we always do baseball game. We have done overnight team retreats. We've done limo karaoke. As well. Sorry, limo to the karaoke place. So like limo karaoke would be cool.
That would be. You might be honest. Yeah. Like a party bus.
Yeah.
What else have we done? Just up and right. Like calm tours. Like we had a St. Louis history specialist give us a tour of these that we didn't know, so it was like far and educational. Escape rooms and axe throwing. We love to eat.
We used to have soup night, and our best soup night was all the electricity went out in the whole neighborhood, so we were all having soup night with headlights. It was awesome.
That is spot.
We have had a lot of fun, and I can remember
That is awesome. Well, we're almost out of time here. I end every podcast with the same question. So what's been the most impactful book or podcast that, you can go personal or professional that's made a big impact?
I don't have one. I have a lot.
If you need any memory joggers here, I've got a few back on the shelf.
The one that comes to mind is like Griffin meets, and it is not a real estate.
Okay.
But it is just the story of Stanley, who left Vietnam and go to Saigon. And reading about this family and how it struggles having to leave their home, having to develop heights. It's just mind-blowing what people can get through.
It's a little bit of perspective.
It's just, yeah. And then, so it's like, sometimes I get a little, like, crappy, or like, I don't want you to think. And then it's like, okay.
Right, like it was the perspective of
You're finding out dad's at the home inspection.
yeah. just so that I think is, if I had to name one book that I recommend, it's that one.
Awesome. Well, it's been so much fun teaming up with you, John. I appreciate you coming on and being a guest, and we will see you next episode.